All right, we're live. So, welcome everyone. It's another MakerCast, and it's me hosting the show again for the third time, I think. So, hopefully, someone will pick it up next time because I imagine you're getting pretty bored of me and my quizzes. But it's episode 35 of MakerCast. So, what is MakerCast? MakerCast is a monthly stream that wanders from Maker Channel to Maker Channel, where makers share their latest projects. We always try to have some new people on the show to show what they've been up to. And this week, we've got some pretty exciting guests. Kicking off, we've got Myers Makes, aka Clem. He's been doing some pretty interesting stuff. He's been working on some engineering resin that's based on himself. It's super strong and it's super tough. He's also got another project he's working on, but we'll wait for his bit of the show to learn about that bit. We've then got Becky Stern. Becky is a maker based in New York. When she's not making, she's out riding bikes and motorcycles. She's now officially the coolest person I know. I've been binge watching her content, and you should too. Following Becky is the electronic engineer, aka Mark. Mark is actually a certified electronic engineer, so he knows what he's talking about. He's also written a book on designing embedded systems. I'm slightly worried about showing my circuits later, as I'm pretty much an amateur. We've then got Timon. What can we say about Timon that hasn't already been said by many people? He does product design, hacks on electronics, 3D printing, CNC machining. He's also won prizes for his Linux tablet. It can be summed up in one word: adorkable. And finally, we have Stargirl, aka Thea even. She runs Winter Bloom, an independent women-owned music electronics company. Thea is on a mission to empower people through technology and education. She's also pretty good at playing the guitar, roller skating, and Sonic the Hedgehog. Check out their links in the description to find out more about them, follow them on Twitter, and subscribe to their channels. And of course, there's me, your host for tonight. I am celebrating Christmas. I have my jumper. There'll be a quiz later, and I'll be showing a few things off as well. So, starting off the show, Clem volunteered to go first. So, Clem, I will make you the star of the show. And let me work out how to do that. There we go. Clem is now the star of the show.
Ooh, hello. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for letting me join first. I have basically 3 pieces. One of them is extremely short because, of course, I make videos. I do them on a channel called Element 14 Presents, and my latest video out there is about an Arduino weather station, but that's boring, and everybody has seen such a video, so we talk about different things that you might not have seen. Specifically, some people have like brands of their own, and some have like special versions of stuff made for them. Like YouTubers have thing, and I now have a thing myself. I have my own brand of resin, 3D printer resin, to be exact. It's called Meyer Makes Engineering Resin. I'm trying to find the camera with the right angle. I know it's a bit hard to see, but if you look closely, you can see there are like gears and stuff on there in the design that are like shimmering, which is quite neat, I think. And yeah, what's special about this thing, like I had a project that also was a video where I basically stumbled into the capabilities of 3D printing. I had to build a drop-in cartridge replacement for a Super 8 camera, and normal 3D printing wasn't gonna cut it. Like FDM wasn't exact enough, and with normal resins, the moment I would put my cartridge into the camera, the clamping mechanism would like squash it and break it. So I had to get something more durable than the stuff that you can get already on the market. So I teamed up with like a company that I worked for before, and we made like a special kind of resin that you can hit this stuff with a hammer if you want to. And it's, when you print it, it's yellow, and when it's done, it's clear. So this one was like printed some time ago. You can see the thin parts are already clear from exposure, and the thicker parts are still a bit yellow. Here, for example, are 2 parts. One is like after printing, the other one was laying in the sun, and now it's yellow. So this stuff doesn't get yellow when it's in the sun, it gets clear when it's in the sun. So like the opposite of the usual stuff. And yeah, I made this specifically for a project, and then I made like a lot of it because I if you want to make like special materials, then you have to pretty much buy a lot of it to make it happen. That's the like how it works. You can't just buy or like make a kilo or something like that. You have to make a lot because there is a lot of overhead with rules and regulations and safety data sheets and all that stuff to make that happen. So I basically had to make that a product, and you can get that now. And I'm gonna share my screen to show you the things. And it's, if you could put my screen on screen, then yeah, that would be great. So yeah, you can basically now go to mymix.com or mymix.at, doesn't matter. Click on engineering resin, and here is all the details you may want to know. We have slicer profiles for G2Box for the most 3D printers. We have a full product sheet with all the stuff. We have all the material safety data sheets in all the European languages. So you basically can get this stuff in most European countries now. Currently, I can't sell to the US because of like regulations and rules, and I don't have the money right now to do this. So I have to sell a bit of that stuff first to make that possible. But it will eventually go over there. And basically, this is like pro-grade material, but that it works on hobby printers. So it doesn't work on the Formlabs machines, but it does work on all the cheap ones. And something that I think his name is the Practical Engineer, I think, a Dutch guy, just checked one of the prints in his lathe. And that's also a thing that I do, because what I intended with this is you basically print your design, then you mechanically alter it to get the perfect fit, like turn it down to perfect dimensions on the lathe, or mill it, or do whatever you want. Check if it fits, and then get the measurements and put that back into CAD. Instead of reprinting, you basically alter the piece, and you can, like, every metalworking tool works also on this stuff, and it's pretty easy to machine. And one example that I did, which has like an interesting side effect, is this thing here, which is a little gear, and I've posted that on my Instagram. That gear is printed with the resin. I didn't even bother to cure it fully because the weather is like bad, and it takes quite some hours in bright daylight, and in winter it takes like forever. But eventually, if it has enough sunlight, this stuff gets clear. And I tried to laser in a little logo. That logo is of the project that I will like tell you right after this. And I thought maybe you can laser this stuff, and basically it's pretty much like the material is very similar to polyurethane, and you can pretty much laser that flawless. So you can get very sharp contours. And then I thought, what about if I like 3D engrave that? So if you do dithering for a picture on that, I see the question by Adam Bryant, how well does it take model paint like every other resin? Just prime it with standards primer and paint it. Works flawless. I have a video coming up where I paint this stuff, and it looks like injection molded, basically. Yeah. So I tried to make something weird with it, and I took this photo that you see now on screen, and I lasered it onto the part, and it's like it's dithered. So wherever it's more dark, it will like yeah, I can see my mouse. Like the portions like the hair are darker because they are like the dots are closer together, and there are like more of them. So the resin is like eroded deeper into the surface, and the light parts are basically none or just very slight erosion. And on the blue shirt, you can see that it's like in between those. And also you can even see the different, like the folds of my shirt. You could see them here. So yeah, that's how it works. And the thing with it, this is to make this visible. I basically mixed up another batch of resin, dyed that black, put it in there, and then cured it in a curing station, and then put it on the mill and milled it down again, or I put it on a lathe and turned it down again to the flat surface. And now you have a 3D face in there, like the same face as in the picture, and it's beneath the surface in 3D. So it's actually like inside there. And now I want to experiment with that and make it like, basically, I think you could theoretically, if you make the dithering like strong enough and play around with the intensity of the laser, you can basically have like a cube and make a picture, a 3-dimensional one inside there, and then fill it up again. So it's really inside the object. Maybe that's an interesting application for something that has to like look nice. Yeah. And if you want to get that stuff, it's basically available on my homepage, but it's a manual process. So you basically have to fill out this form, send it over, and I will answer per email, and I will get it shipped to you. Yeah, that is the engineering resin. Was a lot of work to get this right. Here, for example, is a Banshee, and then with that, I encountered like a nice oversight. It's like things nicely happen that you don't expect from them. So when you print that and you cure it, the thin parts cure a lot faster than the thick ones, which is, yeah, that's how it works. And once those supports are clear, then you can just wiggle them and they snap perfectly at the points where they attach. So it's really easy to get the supports off. And it's like perfectly flat on there.
Very
and that's
cool.
Pretty cool for detailed models. And you can hit this stuff. No damage at all. I hit stuff with a hammer. Basically with these hooks, I can hang myself to the ceiling and they don't break. Yeah. And that's how easy you can get the supports off. But still, this thing is like, it's like really tough.
You're losing more if you hit them from the Banshee.
Yeah, that's not indestructible, but I think you can hit this multiple times with a hammer before something goes. So yeah, that's my engineering resin. I hope a lot of people have use for it. We have like sold this now to a lot of makers across Europe. There are reviews hopefully on the way. And I hope that people have like ideas with it that wouldn't be possible with normal resins. I'm gonna go in the normal mode again because it gets hot. And yeah, and there is a secondary project that I'm working on now for a very long time. I'm just gonna make this big so you can see it. This is, you could call it a passion project, but it actually is a lot more. I know a lot of people sell on websites that are, I don't name names, like that are made for people like makers to sell their stuff, and they don't really care for things like legality and compliance and taxes and all the stuff that bites you in the butt when it's there. So basically, I had no other choice to start my own project, and I will clearly say that I'm not the only one working on alternatives. So there's also another project that will maybe come on the show someday to explain what it is. Mine is called Smander.com, and it's not a maker marketplace, as I would like to call it. It's a distribution company, a big one, specially designed for makers. And what this is about, it has multiple parts to it. One of them is a shop that you can see here. I have now like only examples online, but that basically is how it works. You have a shop, you can shop for stuff that people put on there, makers sell their things, and it cares for a lot of stuff like CE and EANs and data sheets and all the compliance stuff, and it does all the taxes. So if I add something, it will automatically calculate the right taxes and stuff. And the difference with this is you don't have to do basically all the hard stuff. You design cool stuff and we do the rest. Okay? VAT registration and all that stuff, we do that for you. So you can build cool stuff. And that hopefully allows us to bring like maker-made products, not only between makers, but to like people that would like them that are not makers themselves, that want to like have normal shopping experiences and refunds and returns and all that stuff. And with all these like things that we want to do, we already have like some sellers registered for the beta. This is like the beta version, just to try out how it works and to do like the testing and stuff. We call our sellers salamanders because it's Smander. It's like a salamander, a soldermander. Yeah. And so all the sellers are salamanders. And basically what they do, they sell to us, the company Smander, and we sell on to the customer. So we are responsible for making all the stuff compliant. And basically you don't have to take care about all the difficult legal stuff. And we do all the invoicing and all the stuff that is also on your mind then. But there's the big thing. If you sell to customers, there's this thing called CE. Or the Americans know some FCC stuff like compliancy for electronic emissions and stuff. And we have like a little section here that says we do like information stuff. So we actively talk to the people selling on there and making the project, not just putting out a statement every 3 months that has nothing in it. We have a Discord. You can join that right now and like try out the beta version of the thing. You can chime in, give your suggestions and stuff. We are currently first targeting Europe because it's like the hardest thing to get right. Then we want to encourage sellers from the UK, so selling from and to UK, and then it's about worldwide, like with USA and Australia and the like. But first we have to get Europe right. So that's currently the main focus, but we're already actively working on the UK stuff. Then we have the thing with distribution and stuff. So we will also have, and I'm currently building that right now, we will have a fulfillment thing. And no, we don't have NFTs. But we have digital products. So you can also sell your 3D printable files and whatever you want. Or make like, if you are working on an open source project, you can also collect donations in form of you buy support, for example, or you buy consultations. So you can also give services on there. But we also will have fulfillment. So if you have something that you don't want to ship yourself, we can do that for you, especially if you sell like a lot of tiny parts that have to be picked. And the certification thing is the next thing. And we are building our own CE lab for that. So we will do all the testing and certification, but in a manner that is not like the big labs, because they basically have to do everything that you would ask them to do to be competitive and to be like an option in the market for the big boys. We just focus specifically on maker products like dev kits, breakout boards, all that stuff that makers typically sell and make, and build and buy all the equipment that we need to do the right certification and testing for that specific segment. So we can cut a lot of overhead cost by doing it that way. And I've already invested like 10K this year and another 10K next year on that sort of equipment to get this thing started. So it will take a while, but the end goal is that we basically, if you have a product that you want to sell, you just give us the info. We can assess if you can sell it in the way that it is, or if you have to make some changes and give you some guidance on what to change and how to approach that. Then you list it on our website, and if it sells, then we can distribute it directly. So basically how it works is you list your items on the website. If someone buys it, then basically we give you the order, you send it directly to the customer. So in essence, we buy it from you on demand and sell it onwards to the customer. And if you have if you need to move bigger volumes, you can basically ship it in bulk to us, and we do the fulfillment ourselves. And the same goes with the other services like the certification stuff. If you need help with that, basically you send in your stuff for testing. We do the compliance checks and the documentation, and then you can sell it. And for the some nice thing that we have, because we also thought about digital products. Like I have done here some like downloadable example things. You can make stuff that is directly downloadable. And a really nice feature is, what if you made a mistake in your file? What if you have an updated version, like a bug fix or something else, but you can't publicly host it because it's like a paid stuff? If you update the file on this product, all the people that bought it will have the download link still available for them for the new version. So you basically update stuff that has already been bought, which is something that bothered some people I talked to on other platforms, because you basically have to email out to every customer to give them an updated version. So we do that automatically now. And we also have stuff like grouped products, which is also a thing that was really bugging me. When you make like a thing that has options, like you want the headers with it or the dev kit with your breakout or whatever, you have combinations. Like if you buy a Pioneer, you can like order it with a compute module, and then you have like stocks for the ones with and the ones without, and then maybe you have different versions, and it's all like horrible to keep track of the stock. In this case, you basically make one product for the one listing for the Pioneer, one for every version of the CM4, and a grouped product for each one of them. So if somebody buys the grouped one, all the stocks are kept track of.
Yeah, that is very cool.
We try to make it a bit more better, and I constantly say we, but I'm pretty much the only one working on the platform actively right now. But I have like advisors and people that will chime in some money if I reach some goals. And we is especially important because on the Discord is like a lot of makers chiming in and testing and reporting bugs and telling what they want to see and how things should work. And it's a group effort, and we can only do that if we have the support of the community. So I hope some people that watch that stream will join in the Discord. And that's it from me. Thank you for giving me the time.
Thank you. That was brilliant. It's
Yeah,
very
this is
exciting.
great.
I'm quite looking forward to it because I've got a bunch of stuff that I want to sell, and putting it on Tindy feels slightly dubious at the moment with VAT, especially in the UK with Brexit making things even more complicated. So hurry up and get it live.
Oh yeah, Brexit is horrible.
I can speak from experience. If somebody will do CE for you for free, throw your product at them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. All right, brilliant. So Becky volunteered to go next. So Becky,
hello. Can y'all hear me?
Would you have one question though for my
questions?
Yeah.
Some questions first.
How on earth do you do a custom resin? Like, is that something you
That's a good question,
have experience in, or did you just go to someone and say like, "Hey, I need a resin with these properties, please do"?
Well, it's a pretty complicated thing. So first, you basically need to know how the industry works a bit. I have worked previously for a filament company, and that company now also makes resin. And
I see. So
I asked them, is it possible to make stuff like, here's my description of what I want. Basically, I wanted to have liquid PETG. And is it possible to make this? And the first answer was, oh, don't know yet.
Turn into an elephant.
But we can look into some materials. And then, yeah, they did. And then they came back to me, you know what? Maybe this thing is possible. And then it was like a back and forth with trying out test prints and stuff. And then we had a material, and then it had to be made printable. So it's like a pretty long, complicated process, especially for the poor chemist that has to do all the testing and all the mixing. So that was like a really big amount of work for them. But they made it happen. And then basically it was like a lot of user testing by me and stuff. And then we basically had a product that was ready. And then it was like a lot of paperwork and money involved to get this out to the people. It's like with chemical products, there come a lot of regulation stuff.
Yeah.
So the hardest part is to do all the paperwork right, and to be really sure that your product is up to spec and that you can constantly produce this like in a repeatable fashion. The first batch of this is like gone. It's like that was like, it's really hard to make it exactly the same. So like in the 0 batch basically has gone to waste. Batch 0, the batch that should have been batch 0 is now batch 1. So basically, yeah, it was pretty hard to do, but they now have like their own facilities for handling all the chemicals that are a bit more difficult to handle. And now basically the process is controlled from start to finish. And I can also like quality test every single batch that goes out. So if you buy one of these bottles, I have personally tested that batch in that printer, or in that printer and that printer and that printer. So, and we have profiles for all of them.
All right.
So you
Very
can
interesting.
be sure that it's consistent, but that's like the hardest thing to do. So if you
Here's
want to
the-
make your own resin, you can. Don't underestimate it.
Oh no, I
And-
was just curious. I have no plans on doing that.
Yeah, but it's
target-
Just seems like a very hard thing. That's why I was asking. Like,
if you want to do
like,
something really easy, go make an energy drink.
for sure.
30K next week, you have your own energy drink. It's like that's the easiest.
I'm
thing
sure
in the
there's
world.
someone on Alibaba for that. Yeah.
What's the target sort of audience for it? Is it mostly kind of people making sort of engineering type stuff, or is it for anyone, sort of hobbyists?
Basically, it has applications pretty much for everyone. Oh yeah, the best thing. I don't think you have seen it on the website, but it's like what is tough resin is usually pretty expensive, and that is like really engineering great thing because you can machine that stuff, and it's like crazy tough. This costs 70 or 69.99, including tax per kilo. That's like half the
Yeah, it's a
price.
very good price.
Yeah, it's half the price of the like
Yeah, Formlabs I
usual
think I pay
engineering
180.
tier stuff. Sorry?
Formlabs I pay 180, I think, for something somewhat comparable.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are very expensive.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I haven't directly compared it to Formlabs because I don't have access to their materials and printers.
I mean,
Right now,
I've used them a
I would
lot,
love
and like
to.
from what you've shown, like other Formlab stuff would have broken, to be honest, with like their tough resin and the Grey Pro.
Yeah, you can.
I'm impressed.
It's like it has nothing. Oh, I made. Maybe you guys know RC crawlers, like the little cars that go over rocks and stuff. Like I drive one of those, and I made like my replacement parts out of that stuff. And usually you can break like aluminium parts, and that stuff doesn't break because it's like it takes impacts really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that I should show when it's completely finished. But I'm currently designing my complete like the whole thing. I'm like at 20% or so, but someday I will have like a fully open source thing.
This time next year on the show.
Maybe. And it's pretty much partially made from this stuff.
Cool. That is awesome. Alrighty. No more questions from the audience. So Becky, are you ready?
Hello. Yes, I am here and ready and very delighted to have been invited. Thank you, Chris. I always love coming on this show. I've only hosted once. I should host again. I am working on a Secret Santa project. I got invited to Maker Secret Santa, and the videos come out later in December. And I basically made 8 projects in one project. My recipient is not in the US, and so I wanted to send a very New York experience. So I chose to recreate a New York hot dog cart. Here's a American Girl doll umbrella that I dressed up with fabric and vinyl cut letters. And I 3D printed and laser cut an enclosure. I'll share my screen to show you I'm making 2. The first one is already in the mail, and the second one is in parts on my desk. So let's see. I'm going to share my screen. Select window or screen. Entire screen is fine. I don't know. I have to grant it in security and privacy settings, so maybe that won't work out. I can hold things up. So I made this. The whole thing is like made out of laser cut acrylic, and is covered in this like vinyl sticky paper that I arted up with some art that looks like a New York City hot dog cart art. So you have like the pretzel with the American flag and the Statue of Liberty, and then you have like the I have one over here that's like best hot dog, best New York hot dog, but it's the New York Yankees logo, stuff like that. And the whole thing is like a rectangular box, and the hot dog goes down a slide, and it puts mustard and onion sauce on the hot dog. So it smells, it looks beautiful. It has, the hot dog goes down a little ramp made of these bearing rollers I got from McMaster. So it's like as it goes down, there's a mechanism that holds the mustard bottle. The mustard bottle goes in like this, and there's two motors, one here and one under here, and the one down here makes the whole thing go back and forth to, apply a zigzag of mustard. And as the hot dog goes under it, this other motor up here is pulling on a little hook attached to the zip tie, which like bends the bottle over the fulcrum and squirts out the mustard. It's very messy, as you might imagine. I believe that is part of the point. And then this other mechanism I have is like a little trough that servo motor like spins it over to to spill out the onion sauce. And then the electronics part, I've got some audio I recorded. I can hold up my speakers. I'm using one of these audio FX boards, and I recorded some audio. You can hear it. I'm holding it up to the microphone from Times Square. And so it's like
Nice.
so it's like cars honking and people talking with American accents, and I was just walking around, and so that plays inside the box. And then it also has what hot dog cart would be complete without an LED sign scrolling like the foods you can get.
Nice.
So right now it says New York hot dog experience. I have a little bit more work to do on the animations, honestly. If I had like another week to work on it, the one that I sent away, I would have made a couple more LED animations. And also while I was building, my office got so messy that I lost these. I made these little polymer clay pretzels to go with the cart, and like I put them in a bag, and then my office became like a giant pile of packing materials, and I couldn't find them. And so I found them when I cleaned up. So they're going in the video, but unfortunately they didn't make it into the package in the mail. So yeah, that's the project. It's 3D printed. It has it's supposed to arouse all of your senses, because it you can eat the hot dog, and it smells like mustard and onions, and it sounds like New York, and it looks like all that stuff. But you do have to cook your own dog. I Googled hot dog robots, and they were all just robot arms programmed to pick up a dog and put it on a bun or put it on a plate, and none of them decorated the hot dog. So I figured, and the guy at the hot dog cart doesn't cook the hot dog either, really. It's just sitting in boiling water or hot water. So it's the New York hot dog experience. The hot dog is already cooked, and the mustard and the onions are applied to it. So I arranged for one of our other Secret Santa members to go drop off the perishables, since I'm not sending buns and dogs across international borders. But I did send the mustard and the onion sauce, which are the traditional. So it doesn't really matter what hot dog.
There you go. Somebody wants to buy it.
I love it.
No, you don't.
The whole attention to detail is.
I am going to make a tutorial. So the assembled project is it's 20 inches long and it's 6 inches wide. And yes, of course, I used imperial units because that would be the American thing to do. Also, I think it's so funny that the appropriate umbrella that I found, I was looking for small umbrella, model train umbrella, too small. All these other umbrella, the American Girl doll umbrella is the perfect size. And isn't it funny that it has the word American in it? And the mustard has the word American on the bottle too. So anyway, I'm usually not this patriotic, but I doubled down. Yeah. And I've used all of my skills, right? We got vinyl cutting, we got laser cutting, we got 3D printing, we got some crafting, we got some, because of the polymer clay, we've got the electronics. This project has it all. And so that's the project I'm working on. It's my last project of the year. looking forward to doing a lot more projects in 2021, hosting MakerCast. I mean, 2022. Oh my gosh, 2021 has gone by so fast. So yeah, does anybody have any questions about my hot dog bot? I haven't recorded my voiceover yet, so if y'all have questions about it, that might inform my script.
Why? I love
Why?
it, but what was the reason to what like made you want to make hot dogs?
I thought I outlined that in the beginning, but I was invited to Maker Secret Santa, and the person that I drew is not in this country, and so I decided to give them not only an American experience but a New York hot dog experience.
Right, okay.
Is that a
Love
valid
it.
why?
Absolutely, totally.
I'm trying to share the love.
You put so much attention to detail in this. Like,
Yeah.
At what point did you think, okay, this is enough? Like, how do you stop yourself from just...
Did you hear me add features while I was presenting? Like, and I'm going to put LED animations on them. So I don't really know when. I had to stop in order to put it in the mail, so it could arrive on time. But it's true that there could be a version 2 with like even more features. It's quite a fun canvas. No, I was brainstorming with my friend Stephanie, who's also a creator on YouTube, and the hot dog robot was her idea. She was like, you need to make a hot dog robot. But we were brainstorming about American experiences. We were like, what American experience could I build? And like hot dog cart was her idea. So I'll give her full credit, but I took it and I ran with it. And my friend Ruby, an undergraduate mechanical engineering student at UC Davis, helped me with with some of the mechanisms, since I'm not very motor inclined, but she really gave me a good boost. So,
do you actually like hot dogs? How many hot dogs have you had to eat?
Oh my gosh, I do not really like hot dogs that much. And I had to eat one when I was like recording audio in Times Square. I'm like, of course I'm gonna get a hot dog. But I only had to eat half of it, and my partner ate the other half. I'm not a huge, like, if I'm going to get something at the cart, it's going to be a pretzel. I do love a big, soft pretzel, but I'm not a huge hot dog fan. But it is, I don't hate it, and it's very, like, New York food. Because I did choose the just mustards and just the onion sauce. And the onion sauce is like this tomato base with onions in it, and it's like, when you say I want onions on my hot dog, here you get this like onion sauce with tomato in it. And the ketchup is a controversial. Ketchup was my stretch goal. To answer your question, I stopped before ketchup because now that I have the squeezing, like, yeah, I could add a ketchup nozzle, but apparently like a quarter of the population of the world thinks ketchup is a very inappropriate hot dog topping. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I learned that.
Kia puts it on
project because I like ketchup, but apparently some people think it's like too sweet and it's like for kids and it drowns out the flavor of everything else.
You stopped just short of a mistake. That's fantastic.
Right, and I knew from my research that ketchup was going to be like touchy, like controversial, and I'm like, okay, well then like ketchup's optional. It's definitely mustard, and if mustard's working, then maybe eventually I could add a ketchup, optional ketchup. But yeah, the thing has like the way you have to like prime the mustard. There's like I put 2 buttons on it, and you have to manually advance the one that holds it until it starts like coming out, and then your hot dog goes through. So the middle piece is like removable for cleaning.
It's very well thought out.
Super messy.
Absolutely.
In a great way. Like it's like so.
Genius.
Yeah.
So,
I think this is one of my most favorite projects ever shown on a MakerCast. Like maybe the most favorite.
Video coming out later this week. I'm sorry I couldn't share my screen in a timely fashion in order to show you the.
Did not take from the experience.
No, the experience was still great.
You'll just have to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when this video comes out later in December.
And what about relish? Where do we stand on relish?
It's fine. It sounds more of like a Chicago topping to me. I don't know. Right? Like, isn't the Chicago dog is a very specific type of toppings?
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and it was
totally.
quite amusing seeing your dog in the background as you were talking about hot dogs as well.
One doggo. Yeah, we have one doggo. The other one was scratching at the door. I should let him in. Yeah, this is Olive.
So cute.
All right. Brilliant. Well, that was absolutely awesome. I'm looking forward to that video because I want to see
Me
this
too.
one.
Oh wait, I still have to edit it.
Oh yeah. Maybe next year sometime then.
No, it's coming out. They're all the
Definitely
Maker
coming
Secret
out.
Santas will come out together later in December.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
Brilliant. All right, so next up we've got the electronic engineer, aka Mark. So Mark, are you ready? Hopefully this will all work. I've got a lot of things to share, so we'll see if this actually works. And can I work extremely hard? This is this might be my last hosting session ever after this experience.
It'll work out. No problem. So actually, I will start telling a bit about what I've been up to because, I'm actually new in this community and people might not know. So just going to tell a little bit about what I've been doing so far, and then of course I'm going to share what I'm up to next. And basically, everything started with a spectrum analyzer like the one here in the background.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm wearing a headset, so it doesn't respond to the microphone unless I talk. There are several of those are available on YouTube, and I think it was Platinum is the one who made it first, and he made a great design. And I was thinking I want to rebuild it, so I contacted him. And actually, his PCB was available for sale. The problem was it came from, I think, Malaysia or India, and the shipping was extremely high. It will cost me a Porsche. So that was the reason that I said, okay, then I will make my own one. The only thing is, I have this one rule: whatever I build and share on YouTube, I will share open source. So other people can build it and learn from it, because that's my goal. I want to build things to learn from it, so others can profit as well. So I started with the first design, and maybe you can share it, Chris. It's the photo that says PCB.
So the first one.
It's the black one.
Yes.
Yeah.
This one.
So yeah, that was the first design, and it was based on the same components as Platinum used in this design. It has an Arduino, and then it has two. You cannot see it here, but two spectrum analyzer chips called the MSG EQ7, which is each is a 7-band equalizer, and it has a frequency board. And the combination of those led to some troubles, because the chip itself, the MSG, well, it's hard to get ones that are working, because there are a lot of fakes out there, especially if you order them on like AliExpress. I don't know why. I mean, I don't see the profit in it, but apparently they like to to make them, and they're not working. So it's people bought my PCBs and start building, and then contact me, hey, it's not working. And most of the time, the trouble was in those chips. And then I told them to order original at Mouse or DigiKey, and everything worked fine. And the same was with the frequency board. The frequency board, it's also a general thing. It's used in a lot of projects, but it has one big problem. It's unforgiving. If you short the output, then it's dead in the water.
Oh no, that's not good.
Yeah. So if you're measuring with an oscilloscope, and you know how that works, it's very quick. You make a mistake and short it out to ground, to the plane, and then it's over and done with. Which led me to a new design. That was with the FFT analyzer. I think I put a schematic there, 4.1.
Is that this one?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So So I decided to throw out the critical components like the analyzer chip and the frequency board, and do it in FFT directly, because the ESP has enough power for that. So I redesigned it, and I have the boards here, but you need to. Oh no! Wait, just leave it open for a minute, because I can tell you about it. Because this FFT version doesn't only have the pixel matrix like the one I'm using in the analyzer at the back of me, but also has the interface for these Hub 75 displays. and that's the one I use for the 64-channel analyzer. So it had a lot of improvements. Beside the critical components that were eliminated, I also added the big display. And at the moment, this is the most popular design in my Tindy store.
Cool.
You can close it.
Great.
And actually, I have the PCB here. This was the first one with the critical
Nice.
component, the frequency board, and the, let's see, here is the, oh, they're not in it, but here are the sockets for the MSG circuits. I replace it with this one,
Ooh.
with the ESP32.
ESP32, very good.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, like I said, this is the one that's sells the most in my Tindy store, because it's easy to recreate. You just order it. The components are already pre-soldiered, except for the through-hole components. But all the SMT components are already on there, so it's not hard to complete it. And you put the ESP controller on it, upload the sketch, and you're good to go. But still, I wasn't pleased, actually. It was nice, and I also did a comparison between the board with the analyzer chips and the FFT algorithm. I made a comparison between the two, and although it looks nice, you can still see that the analog design reacts a bit smoother than the FFT version, because the FFT version has to deal with noise and harmonics, and especially at the higher band frequencies, that it was not as nice. So I decided to combine best of both worlds. So I'm making a redesign, and it's the sketch is ready, the hardware is ready, and now I'm writing the documentation. It's a whole new board, and special about this one is this part. And if you put up the schematic of analog analyzer, if you would, yes. It's here, actually. This is the back end. This is actually the analyzer. It's a good old-fashioned analog analyzer. So I created 10 filters, band filters, each for the set frequency. They're mentioned here, but it's too small to see. It's not that important. Actually, it's the standard frequencies for analysis.
Cool.
And the front end, again, is an ESP32. So after having an analog result, I process it, well, not really digital, but I sort of translate it into 2 bars, into the number of LEDs that light up. The good thing about the ESP2 is it's for this circuit, it's a lot of overkill. Probably a tiny Arduino would have done the trick, because there is no FFT anymore. But I use the power to use a web interface. And basically, what I do beside the analog analysis, showing it on the LED or LED matrix, I also do a web interface that shows the analysis live. And the other day I uploaded a video where I did only that. It's a very quick project. You can just get your ESP32, upload the sketch, and hook up your audio, and you're good to go. And the web interface will show it. I have a little video of that somewhere. Yeah. Just skip forward. And goes up. This is I think 24, 16, and goes up to 64 channels.
Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah, the reason why I did this first project was I was curious to see if the ESP is fast enough, sure, but the web interface itself, would it be fast enough to do a refresh so that you can still see the graphics go smoothly. And to my surprise, it turned out it's way faster than I expected. I even had to slow it down. It's so fast, it's chaotic. you already see it. It's a bit like hectic because it's too fast. And this is with slow motion in it. Let me find it again. And the good part is because it's a web interface, you can just take any device, your iPhone, your iPad, your computer, and display it.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. What you see here, sometimes it's stuck. It's like it freezes up. And what happened there is that whenever the Wi-Fi was interrupted, it stopped. So I changed the firmware. Now that's fixed. I put it on the other core. So I use one core for the the LEDs, and the other core is dedicated to this web interface. And because that was a success, I also implemented that in the new PCB and the firmware to show both. And I hope to get it ready anytime soon. The hardware is basically ready. Like I said, I'm doing the documentation now, and of course I have to do the prototype. For that, I have to order some acrylic and do some laser cutting, which is another project of mine, by the way. I'm still working on it. I started building my own laser cutter like 2 years ago, and I'm not really in a hurry to finish it. It's one of those projects where, it's under the category, nice. Would I be able to do it? And can I learn from it? And yeah, well, turns out I'm not the first one to build it. So fortunately, there are a lot of good examples there. So I basically bought some plans online and started building it. And the good thing is, at my workplace, my employer has a big laser cutter, so I can use it any time. That's why I'm not in a hurry. But it's good to have one at home. But when time comes, it's not a high priority project. But I'm still going to finish it, and I hope to have the first video out there somewhere in January, February, maybe. And another thing I'm working on is again a Tesla coil. It's one of those projects, like I said, can I do it? Let's find out. When I started working on Tesla coils, it was a funny story. Somebody, an old classmate, contacted me and said, "Hey, Mark, I saw something on TV. There was this guy who made things levitate and make things move on a table with high voltage." And I said, "What? What's that?" I said, "That's dangerous. You cannot do that." So it was nonsense, of course, but I didn't feel up to it at the time. But I was thinking, well, maybe it's a good idea to master it, to get to know it. So I started experimenting with it, built my first Tesla coil, and I had a lot of help from some local guys here.
Nice.
There was Jeroen Acid-Bite, also a YouTuber. He helped me, and I'm in direct contact if I need some help with him. And basically, my first design that was funny because I built acrylic housing. I think I have a photo of that. Let me share it.
I think Thea's reaction says everything.
Oh, the minute he said
Coil-
acrylic housing,
coil
Tesla
photo.
coil, I knew where this was going.
I think it's going there now. Coil photo. Can you share it?
One sec. This one?
Yeah, it's this. No, that's a video. There's also a photo. I just
Oh,
uploaded.
yeah, photos. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, this one.
Yeah, it's a big acrylic housing, and here, if you can see it, there's a little image of the coil, supposedly. Well, it looks like a uterus actually. And the funny story is, it was, but I like the photo so much, and it looked like a coil because it has this little coils on the side. But the name of the coil, it was my first coil ever built, and after it saw its first spark, I called it the Virgin Spark. And I have a video of that actually. That's the other one. Let's try if it runs, Chris.
Try this. Is it going to work? We're going to get a spark.
Just try it. Maybe. I think the resolution is too high for this stream.
Yeah.
Oh, it's big. Well,
I can see. Yeah. That was
Oh, there I was.
Oh wow, yeah.
Briefly.
There we go, yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
is
just let me
pretty
get freeze at that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, actually, it's after this I blew up another circuit, and it's one of those projects where you're working on it and you think, oh, I want to try this and I want to try this and I want to optimize it. Oh, what if I do this? Shoot, that were my semiconductors. And then it's like, shoot, I wish I shot the video first and then started experimenting, but then it's too late. So that's why the video is not out yet. I have to fix it again, start over. Because every time you fix on this, you have to tune it again, and
That is absolutely
it's
awesome.
fun, but it's time consuming. Yeah. And let's just stop it. So, another 2 videos I'm going to do, and that's about it for now. On the internet, I bought this network analyzer. It's a very small. It's called Nano VNA, and you could buy it at AliExpress for under €20. And actually, I'm going to do a tutorial video on how to use it specifically for Tesla coils. Because the thing with Tesla coils, it's an open circuit. The one side of the coil is in your ear, is in the ear. It's a top load, and still you want to know the resonance frequency. And this device is perfect for it, and it's spot on. It's really like hertz, and the minute you touch the coil, you come near it, you see it changed. It's perfect. I'm going to do a tutorial on that. That's nice. And another one is my soldering station. Does it look familiar to any of you?
Yeah, it looks like the one that I paid $500 for.
Yeah, like GBC.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, it is. But it's not. This is actually, GBC is the original, but this is a clone. It's an AliExpress clone.
How much
I
did
bought
you
that for. I bought it for €130, and I had to pay some tax when it arrived here. But it's less than half the price from the original. And I compared, because I have the JVC, so I opened both up and did a comparison inside to see how solid is it. And well, I can tell you they copied it very nicely.
Okay, I didn't expect that.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Does it work as well?
Especially the tips, they're the same.
Buying things like that. It's like, oh, it's going to get hot. I want to make sure that that's engineered well.
This is one of those soldering irons when you turn on the switch, or you cannot hold it. It's like 2 seconds is on temperature.
Wow.
So I'm going to do a video on that, which remind me, doing all this open source project also has a downside, but I guess you guys already know this, and some of you know experience it. When you start browsing at AliExpress, you find all kinds of things, and at some point you'll say, "Hey, I know that's mine." So that's one of those things, but I don't mind because it's open source, and yeah, sure, but it's a downside. That's one of the reasons why I don't share my pick and place file. I share all the info. I share my Gerbil files. You can order the print, but I'm not pick and place. If you want that, well, that's the one thing that's the one thing I can keep for myself to make people buy my PCB circuits somehow.
That is very cool. You have a lot of projects on the go.
And there's one more actually.
More?
It's more like a question for anyone who's watching.
Okay.
One of you earlier mentioned sure. One of you mentioned the practical engineer. It's Emil, and it's a Dutch engineer, and he made this banana for scale. That you see that some YouTubers, they like to put a banana to the project. What the heck is that? Why is there always a banana in screen? And I asked him. He said, "Well, don't you know it? It's a banana for scale. Just browse it, you'll find it. Yeah, it's a banana for scale." And actually, this is his design. Thanks, Emil. He shared it with me under the condition that I don't share it. It was just for me for a one-time project I did. But I also promised to do something special with it. And actually, my first idea was to put a power detector in it, like you can use to find wires. Turns out to be a bit more tricky than just putting it in. It's
I
very
have
simple.
that mental image of someone going with a banana through the house.
Yeah, exactly. So my question is to anyone watching: if you have any ideas on what to do with this to make it special, to put some electronics inside, I don't know, maybe an ASP32 that does, I don't know, some fruit monitor or so, please let me know and we'll see what I can do with it.
I would not ask anyone on my channel what to do with banana because I know what they're like.
And that's all for now. So
That was absolutely amazing. Unbelievable. That is round of applause, I think. Definitely.
Awesome
So,
stuff.
Timon, you have to follow that.
Yeah.
What do you have to show us?
I am being very repetitive this year with the MakerCast, and this will be the very last time I will, because this marks the anniversary of pretty much exactly 1 year ago. I was on the MakerCast where Bliss was hosting, and Blitz City Dubai, and I was showing off this rendering. Not rendering, a CAD model, not very complete CAD model. It was like a sneak peek of a prototype I was working on. The Compute Module 4 from Raspberry Pi just came out. And yeah, as some of you know, this is Pionora, at least a very, very early version of that. And going back here, just want to show that first. Yeah, like 2 weeks, like a week later or so, like my PCB arrived. And that focuses, that was the first prototype of it. And I'm going over it once more again. I'm sure I've talked about it many times already, but I made this after Scott from Adafruit made a comment after a stream that somebody should make a carrier for the Compute Module 4 in an Arduino Uno form factor or Metro, whatever. And I thought it was like first of like, but weird idea. Why would you do that? But it kind of stuck with me. And yeah, I made this while I was working on that, I noticed how actually it fits quite well in the form factor, and it's very compact. You still have all of the stuff like HDMI, USB, and yeah, I posted that to Twitter, and that was very popular. We have also PCI Express on the back, camera connector, most of the important peripherals except for Ethernet, because that just does not fit. And yeah, I don't know, for some reason I decided to start a company after that was quite well received. The company is called Diodes Delight. I founded that in the end of 2020. In the middle of a pandemic, and I did not know it at that point, and very shortly before chip shortage. So probably the worst timing ever to start a company. But in the end, it worked out. But it has been a struggle. Like a couple months later, then did a crowd supply campaign. Like, yeah, I make a whole product out of this. Always been wanting to do that. Like I always had like product ideas and stuff like that. But in order to actually do that, you need kind of a company. I was always a bit iffy about that because it's work, and I was not sure if I wanted to do that work. And it kind of pushed me to do it, which I'm grateful for, but it was also a very stressful year.
I'm not surprised, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that went well. We got funded, and then I got into production. And I somehow managed to source all the components in time, and we have the final board, which looks like this. Quickly overview of the features. So it has full-size HDMI, USB-A, USB-C. You can switch with this little switch over here between the USB-C and the USB-A for the data. So this can be a USB host device or a USB device, yeah. And the intention behind that is I'm a big fan of CircuitPython and the workflow that it offers for like microcontroller dev boards. And I kind of wanted to bring that experience to like the Linux world with this. I'm still kind of working on software because I had to like kind of push that to the end of this, but the whole production part. But it kind of works. You can like hook this up to your computer. Like it does not need that much power. Like USB 3 totally works out. Mine had a million pairs. And it pops up as a serial device, USB mass storage, and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, it can technically enable a very similar workflow to CircuitPython. You just like copy over from your computer some files, and it will start executing them. And you have a serial port where you can have a Linux console. Yeah, so essentially like bringing like this rapid electronics prototyping workflow to like a Linux platform. So you have also analog to digital converter over here, so you can do some measurements with that. A quick connector for I2C stuff, little button on the back here, a little button over here, and RGB LED. On the back we have camera and M2 for PCI Express. Like I can put an SSD in here, or if you want Ethernet, USB 3, RS-232 in a bazillion times. If you want that, there's some funky PCI Express devices out there. And if you're really, really hacky, you can also solder a SIM card connector on here and do like LTE stuff. So I try to get as much features out of this as possible into this small form factor. Yeah, it's. I don't think it's possible to put more on it. I exhausted all the options. It actually uses all of the IOs that are available on the compute module. And sorry for those who don't know what that is. It's basically a Pi 4 in this form factor. So you can like make your own Pi 4 essentially, like the same processor, same everything, just without all of the typical connectors. Let me insert that here. So that goes on here, and then yeah, that's like the whole form factor of it. If you want, it also comes with a heatsink. If you like do, I don't know, machine learning or whatever, but that takes a lot of CPU power and runs hot. But generally, you don't necessarily need it. And this thing around here is like a little protector that I made for people to print. But yeah, if you buy it, you get little high rubber feet that also work out. Yeah, that's what I've been working on for a year. It's now shipping on Crowd Supply, Mauser, soon following. Essentially same company, but yeah, in the Mauser system it will soon pop up, hopefully. Now there are also like compatible modules popping up. So this is the Pine 4 soap quartz, I think. So like a lot more companies will make like modules for this form factor. I'm personally also working on some, so I want to make for the RP2040 chip that's on the Raspberry Pi Pico. I want to make a sum for that to make a bit of a meta thing, like the small Pi goes onto the carrier board for the big Pi.
Okay, I scrap mine then.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Just had that on the list.
It's mostly done, so yeah, I will release that soon, at least the files. But yeah, you can do HMI with the Pico. That's why I found it funny, because you can actually use the HMI port on here with the microcontroller. Yeah, I find it a fun thing. I kind of actually made that already. That's my factory tester to test Pioneer. Uses the Pico to like check for shorted signals, test the ADC, test the LEDs, like the peripherals and stuff like that. That's something I hacked together very shortly before the production ended, because I was not intending to make one, because I don't go into the detail, but yeah, very short, quick hack to make a production tester with that. Yeah, that's it really.
Gold connector, somebody wants to know. Are you splashing the cash and buying gold-plated stuff?
Sorry? Gold.
The connectors on your board, are they gold-plated?
Which one do you mean?
The one you just showed. Your factory...
No, I think, or I'm not sure. You mean on the back here?
On the front. Looks very shiny anyway.
Oh right, that's from the Pico, yeah. That has like castellated gold pads.
Okay, yeah. Very cool.
Very great board for making testers, actually, because you can fix a lot of things in software that you can't normally do with other microcontrollers, and that saved my butt. Yeah,
Congrats,
pretty
Timon.
much exactly.
Congrats on this major achievement. Like, wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
hard. And you just, if anybody's watching is curious what it's like to make a product,
there you go.
It takes that long.
Amazingly stressful.
The thing is, like making, so like the first prototype, it's like 95% the same features. Like I changed from 4 LEDs to 1 LED and added a button, but like this is like pretty much feature complete. That took me 3 days. Making the product took a year. Design is the fun and easy part to some degree, depending on what you do. Everything else is if you have companies that take work off you, pay them, it's money well spent. It's like 5 or 6 different jobs you have to do all at once, and if you do a full-time job at the same time as me, it's a lot.
It is pretty much the personification of the 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
Like put in 20%, 80% is done, and then you take forever for the last 20%.
Sure, yeah.
It's a lot of like building relationships, talking to people, paperwork, bullshit, certifications, compliance testing.
Well,
production
Clem's
issues.
going to solve all those problems for you, so Clem will solve them, and then you can just tap into his expertise.
Oh, I really hope
he would solve half of my issues. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I really hope we can pull this off.
Yeah, you can do it. Brilliant. Well, I think it's pretty impressive, Timon. That's amazing, and you're still going.
Thank you.
So that's even more amazing. So.
Yeah, it's really nice to like the past 2 weeks, like see people like post on Twitter and like I don't know, someone in Japan posts something about it, and like it's just all over the world now, and like people use it. It's a very good feeling.
Really cool. Yeah. All right, Thea, are you ready? Closing out the show.
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Excellent. I will make you the solo participant then.
Oh God. I totally feel Timon's pain. Like, I started Winter Bloom in March of 2020.
Nice.
Literally standing right on the edge of the pandemic. That was not a good idea.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I knew and still did it. Like, I was even dumber.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's just like, I think a month later, I was like, wow, I don't know if this is going to work out. It's like, honestly, the fact that I'm still open is just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. You did really well.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been working on a bunch of stuff. I closed, so I stopped stopped fulfilling orders for the year 2 weeks ago, just in time for me to start 7 other projects, which is great. But yeah, one of the things that I did, and Clem actually reminded me that I did this because I had completely forgotten. I made us a new website. And yeah, that was hard. So this is our new website. I don't know how to actually make it visible, but I'm sharing my screen, Chris, if you want to do that.
Yep.
But yeah, we were previously using Squarespace, and I hated it. Like, it's great for, like, if you have, like, a super generic thing and you just need to get off the ground and you want to pay somebody $5 a month, go for it. But since our products are so niche and they have, like, such weird things that I need to tell everybody about, I needed something else. And so I did this. It took about 2 months. And this is completely custom. It's running on a small server. It's running Python. It's all good stuff, but it gives me this ability to put these, like, this information on the side here where it's like, okay, here's the manual, here's the kit. It's open source. You can click that just to jump right into GitHub if you want to do that. And then also, like, all of the reviews and demos and everything are right there underneath. So I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. And
it's really pretty.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work, but it's been worth it.
I bet.
So yeah, that's been cool. But let me show you some hardware I've been hacking on. So I'm going to switch to my other camera, my other microphone. I promise this will work. Okay. Can you also hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so here's some stuff I've been working on. I recently finished going through the whole production process for this product, which is it's a little speaker, basically. And it's excellent. This is just a bunch of them in one case because why not? I wanted to show off all the knob colors. So so this is our most popular product, or sorry, our second most popular product. It's called the Big Honking Button. It runs Python. It's open source. Everything we do is open source. And it's really just delightful because you can take it, you can plug it in, and then you can hit it, and it pops at you. It's just amazing. So this module paired with our new speaker module is just fantastic.
Why?
I love it.
Because it runs
me always.
Because it runs CircuitPython, it can actually do a lot more than it looks like it can do. Because it's actually a sample player, right? Like it can do sample playback. Like one of the things I actually use it for in my real setup is drums. So you can actually put drum clips on it, and then you can use some of the other inputs on here to control which drum sound gets played. So there's a lot of really useful things like that it can do. I am astonished, though, at how many people buy it and just leave the honk on there. It is amazing.
It is a perfect sound.
Yeah, some people buy two, and I'm like, okay, all right.
One for them and one as a gift. Hello.
Yeah.
Honky friends.
But so I was going to show you all this is the prototype for that speaker module. This was one of the more like mechanically complicated things that we had to do. It has like these two separate circuit boards because this jack is really deep. And of course the whole speaker assembly and everything. I actually had to pick out knobs for the first time. So I bought, I think, 110 different kinds of knobs. And so now I have like a bin full of knobs in my room that I'm just not using. But I settled on these because I love them. They're very pretty. Yeah, so we actually got these manufactured, and I got Macrofab to do pink PCBs for the first time. Apparently I was the first person to ever ask for this. So yeah, we got pink ones. Yeah. Speaking of pink PCBs, I also got PCBWay to do pink PCBs for another product I just finished up. And so this is a whole panel for a product. And their pink is a little different, but I love them both. I want more pink PCBs in the world, please.
I feel they're becoming a big thing at the moment. A lot of people doing pink.
I hope so. Like, I'm here for it. Like, everybody get on the bandwagon so that I can get more pink stuff. So, but the really fun thing that I've been working on is this monster. So I know Steven was on last week, and he bought the same like pre-built one that I have. But we have gone completely different directions with it. So all the brown stuff is like the pre-made stuff. And I've replaced everything else, basically. Like all the acrylic pieces are new laser cut pieces that I made. These little blue things here, I had to replace those because this is made as cheaply as possible. So like all the screws are
self-tapping screws. So after you take things apart a few times, it no longer really wants to stay together. But I also have this backside. I mean, this is not done, but this is what connects to all of our instruments. So this whole thing is built to help me test all of our products, because we actually, while we outsource the surface mount stuff, we do the final assembly here, and that includes programming and testing. So yeah, this big boy does all of that, and it's almost working, which is just incredible. But what's really cool about it is there's this motherboard that stays on it, and it's reusable. And I have these kind of like shields that go on top of it that actually have the spring-loaded pins that connect to the boards to be tested. So there's like a couple of different ones for different products, which is super, super cool. And yeah, when you want to test something, you just put this on there. And actually turn it on. And I'm going to take this little board here, and yeah, you just stick it in here, and then you pull down the lever, and you can turn it on. And this one has lights on it, so you can actually see that it's on. But I can actually make it run through the test, and you'll probably hear my multimeter clicking in the background as it takes measurements. But yeah, it's doing all the measurements now, and yeah, once it does that, it's done. This is super helpful for me because before we kind of had to make a test fixture for everything, and none of them had this nice spring-loaded thing going on.
It's professional as fuck.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, so once you're done, you just pop it out and you can keep going. And yeah, this has been something that's just I'm like, okay, I have to have this before next year because otherwise I'm going to go crazy while testing all these products.
Sure.
I also have got it to print out these test reports.
Okay,
yeah,
wow.
So again, Steven is doing something similar, and he also copied Prusa, which is what I did. And I'm like, okay, we're not going to be the first people to do these test reports, but ours are going to be the prettiest. So I have made sure that they are on pretty paper, and they have pretty graphics and typography, because that's just how we do everything. Everything's got to be aesthetic. And yeah, so those are adorable little reports that get printed out of this little tiny printer. I have an absurd amount of thermal printers in my house, almost as many keyboards. But yeah, these are really cool and really cute. I reverse engineered the protocol that the Android app uses to talk to it, so I can just talk to it from any computer. So that's fun. But yeah, that's I can show you all the guts of this thing, which, like I said, this is not done. There's still so much to do. Most of the front panel is not wired up to anything. But yeah, there's the guts. And it's called Hubble, so it has an actual illustration of the Hubble telescope on the back of it. And yeah, there's a little USB hub in here as well, because for the modules that need to be programmed with firmware, there'll be a J-Link that gets attached to this that does that. Yeah, so pretty cool stuff. I felt like this project was cursed for the longest time, because I started working on the motherboard first, and it took me 3 more revisions than I would have liked for it to just function at all. But it's working now, and it's working great, and I'm very happy about that.
When you want to know where the 80% are, this is it.
Yeah.
There's those 80% that are missing for making a project a product. It's
I also worked on my tester probably as much as I did on the actual product, even though it's a really simple PCB in my case.
Yeah, the testing is so so much. I mean, people really underestimate it. Like, and that's another thing. Like, I think I mentioned everything we do is open source. That includes our factory setup scripts, and now it includes our test jig as well because this is on GitHub now. I haven't uploaded all the mechanical parts yet because they're not done. But the motherboard and all of these adapters are already on GitHub, as well as the software that runs on the motherboard, which is actually quite dumb. It just responds to MIDI commands over USB, and the reason we're using MIDI is just because we're a music technology company. We have a bunch of stuff around MIDI already, so it's easy for me to build tooling around that. That way I didn't have to invent a new protocol for talking to it. I just sent it MIDI messages, and it basically reads and writes voltages. And for the synthesizer stuff that we're working with, we have to deal with things between basically -12 and +12 volts. So we can't just slap an Arduino on there and call it a day. It's got an analog front end and some output amplifiers for the DAC as well. It's got a really sweet 16-bit DAC in there, which is awesome. So yeah, it's been a journey on this one.
Nice. Can you push the button again?
Really glorious. It looks great.
Can I push the button again?
Push the button again.
The audience was demanding.
Oh yeah, demanding more honks.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you something even better. How about that?
Please.
So last time I plugged in one speaker, right? But I have a lot of cables here.
Dumb.
Let's plug in.
Number 11.
Let's plug in a bunch of speakers. Let's turn it up to 11. There's one speaker. Here's 2 speakers. Oh, this one's not turned up all the way. Hold up. There we go. 3 speakers. Oh, I need to get some longer cables. All right, 4 speakers. I accidentally hit the button. Hold on. That was not a real thing. Pretend that didn't happen.
It's going to be a bullhorn.
Here we go.
There's your duck.
My cat is looking at me like I'm crazy.
What you do, human?
But yeah, that's people love that. Love this thing. Honestly, it's the second product I designed, and I'm just amazed that it's still as popular as it is.
Sometimes it's the simple things.
Yeah, it
really is. It really is. All right. Yeah. Anybody got questions?
Have you played Goose Game the update?
The multiplayer update?
The multiplayer Goose Game.
Yes.
I found it so much easier than the original version.
Yeah, it's much easier when you have accomplices. Everything's easier when you have accomplices.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone's commenting on how neat your desk is, Thea. Like, oh, desk too neat. But I think that we all try to clean up a little bit, right? Maybe not Timon.
No. This is like
I'm not going to show you my desk.
This is actually a rule for me because everything I do is out of my house, and most of the stuff happens in my bedroom. Like, we have a little bit of space downstairs for the laser cutter, whose name is Jeremy. But all of the electronic stuff is up here. This is my bedroom, So this whole workbench over here, my rule is that every day I have to clean it before I go to bed, because if I don't, when I get up in the morning, I'm not going to want to deal with it. And that's a problem. I have ADHD, so I have to constantly do things to trick myself into being able to do other things. So yeah, I have to keep it clean. It's a strong requirement.
I find it helps me clear my mind cleaning my studio.
Yeah, and actually,
once it's clean. I feel very motivated. So.
Yeah, it's way
I've
messier
been in
than
a
I'd
year
like
long
it to be
cleaning
right
at the
now.
moment. Like, it looks messy, but I've been reorganizing, throwing shit out. Like, it's I get you. This used to be my bedroom too. Like, now it's my workroom, but
and like Theo obviously placed out the things that were in the frame. Sometimes for a MakerCast, you only have to clean this much. You don't have to clean like you guys don't see over there.
We were supposed to clean.
I'm scared to show you how neat the rest of my room is because you're going to think that I'm crazy. But yeah, I like to keep a neat workspace. I really want to look into buying a house next year just because I really need space. Like, I do want Winterbloom to grow a little bit more. Like, I don't want us to be a $1 million company or anything, but a little bit bigger would be nice. And a little more space for that to happen would be great.
Where are you? In Georgia?
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, cool.
Very cool.
Oh yeah, I just got a 3D printer that 3D printed these parts.
Neat.
Yeah.
I love those knobs. I also like nice knobs. I don't know that my knob section is as thorough as yours, but I understand the sentiment.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like in the event of my death, my poor sisters are going to have so much crap to deal with.
I want to leave a legacy where everybody is like, yeah, that was Clem stuff, better not touch that.
And to my niece, I leave my knobs.
Oh, dear. Okay, so I've just got some quick things to show, and then we got the quiz. So I'll be quite brief in my show and tell. So let me just try and work out how to do this. Transition. Yeah. Okay. How do I make myself a solo person? Cool. All right. So I've been messing around with these wireless LEDs that apparently they've been around for years and years, as numerous commentators have pointed out on my video. These came out 5 years ago, and I'm a doofus for even showing them, but I think they're amazing. So I found these are on the Tested channel a few weeks ago, so I thought I'd get hold of some from AliExpress. And then I thought I'd try just making my own and reverse engineering them. So these are the commercial versions, which are quite neat and small and very, very elegant. And here's my homemade version, which is slightly less neat, but I feel has a certain charm to it. And they work really well. So you can have wireless LEDs. So all you need is an inductor and a capacitor and a coil. So I made a bunch of these, my own versions, and played around with different inductors to see how they worked. And then I thought I might as well make my own coil as well. So if I get rid of this one, and I plug in my extremely sophisticated coil of wire, and then this works as well. So I've also got my own sort of driver circuit, which I'll try and bring in.
That's pretty cool.
Which really is just a coil with a capacitor and a MOSFET, just kind of dumping it down.
That's exactly what I was thinking of when you showed your video. Like, how can you make it yourself? I love that.
So it's really, I mean, I'm massively cheating by using an ESP32 as my signal generator, which does seem slightly overkill, but it kind of works. And I kind of thought, I couldn't be bothered to kind of build a 555 circuit with all those resistors and capacitors everywhere. It just seemed too much when I've got an MCU that can do it all. So,
exactly.
So yes, I mean, I was really very pleased with them. So it's quite neat. So I've got some SMD components in order now. So I'm going to try and make some more sort of small ones like these ones, which are slightly neater. But I do quite like the sort of homemade look of the do-it-yourself ones. So,
I was going to say, could you make a really big wireless LED?
well, how big do we like it?
So there's this one person that makes LEDs that are like the size of a head.
Ooh,
I
that
would
sounds
love
good.
to see that.
Yeah, I could definitely have a.
Yeah, I gave one of those as a gift one year.
I mean, you could put this around your neck and have kind of things.
Oh,
on
like
your head,
earrings
ears,
and stuff.
Earrings, and I mean the range is
yeah,
kind
earrings.
of.
How far away? Like, yeah, how far
Well,
above the conductor does it have to?
About 8 centimeters from the quill. I mean, I don't know if you got a head in the way, it might block some of the signal.
Oh, right, because if you put the coil around
Yeah,
your neck,
exactly. Yeah,
the
so
water
maybe
of your neck.
some nose piercings would work, or teeth. You could put some
Shoulder pads.
Shoulder pads.
Teeth. Yeah,
Teeth.
get the grill
teeth.
going. LED
Yeah,
grill.
get the grill going. Yeah, that's what you need. So I mean, there's
Yikes.
the various
and board games. Let's imagine you have the LEDs in the game pieces, and when you put them down, they light
Oh,
up.
that'd be cool.
Lots of people wanting to swallow them and then scan what comes out the other end to see if it survives the journey.
No.
I thought you were going to say swallow them and then sue the company that made them. Your child swallowed the wireless LED.
No, not the viewers of my channel anyway. They were definitely into this.
I wonder if you could see that in your body actually, like while it like goes through your
they do go through
intestines.
They go through skin and stuff, so it works.
So you can light up your belly. That's cool.
Yeah, you could definitely. Obviously,
At least you could put them in your mouth.
Let's not give people the wrong idea.
All of LED.
Or your nose.
So yeah, it was really fun. I mean, it was interesting.
So how many views did that video had now? Because I think it went viral in a day or so.
1.5 million views.
Oh my goodness!
So I mean, it's the only video that's had any success on my channel. So so you'll be seeing a lot more wireless LED videos in the future.
This is your thing now for the rest of your
That's
channel.
all I can do now. Nothing else. It's going to be wireless videos forever. So, but yeah, they're kind of fun. So I haven't got any more wireless videos in the plan. But I did think once the SMD components come, I'll do another one just to see if I can repeat the 1.6 million views. That will be my road to retirement. Will be lined with LEDs.
There's something about colorful LEDs. Every channel goes like to the moon once they start doing LED projects, and I hate them.
Sorry.
Not the channels, I hate LEDs.
Sorry.
You got to follow the algorithm. There's no choice.
I'm in the wrong
Just
industry.
don't want to.
No, music's good as well. Everyone likes audio. Everyone loves some audio.
You say that, but like so many people watch YouTube videos with sound off.
That's true.
Which is like a death sentence for a music technology company.
That is
like for my ad for Pioneera, I wanted to do a voiceover and then realized like that will be a terrible idea because most people just don't listen to that. So I just put music on there and text in it because it's just the world we live in.
The only video where it really counts is if you have a Kickstarter explainer. Then people want the sound. But ads.
Like Crowdsupply actually advised me, like people don't do that. Like just don't bother with voiceovers.
Just have silent videos. You just all mind.
And to be honest, I also like even on Kickstarters, I just mute it immediately. Like usually it's obnoxious. So.
I just don't go to Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I hear the voice of a million Kickstarter projects crying out in agony.
Yeah.
Oh, I just look for the bad ones.
Is that a deliberate backing policy? Of what's the worst Kickstarter I can back that won't
How
succeed?
bad could it be? Yeah.
I just
Well, I
imagine
remember a
Craig
great
going to,
quiz that I think Becky made, where it was like EDM band or like bad Kickstarter or something.
Yeah,
and
I
then the
had
question
a
that was
on
fun.
my wearable show that was called Wearables Crowdfunding Campaign, and one time it was defense contractor, and the other time it was ambient electronic musician. and that time my host didn't know it wasn't an ambient fan, so I'm like, orbital.
I was. I got some
You
right.
got it. Yeah, you got all the questions right. But that yeah. So yes, crowdfunding campaign is the good game to play.
So, are we ready for the quiz?
Yes.
I'm ready.
Sure.
Excellent. All right. Okay. Quiz. So let's transition and go. What's this button do? That's not the button. That's the button. Yes. Right then. Okay. It's the quiz. The the MakerCast episode 35 quiz. So, is there a prize? You're probably asking yourself. And of course, there is a prize. And the prize is, next time, you don't have to do the quiz.
Oh boy.
Okay.
The stakes are high.
Question 1. Geek culture. What is the first recorded use of the word nerd? Is it If I Ran a Zoo
Oh, there's
by
option, that's
Dr.
good.
Seuss, 1950? Is it Happy Days, the TV show, 1974? Is it The Sign of the Four, Sherlock Holmes, 1890? Or is it The Canterbury Tales by Chaucer, 1387 to 1400?
It's Canterbury Tales.
You're supposed to make a note of your answers, and we'll do the
Oh
answers.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't say the rules.
No.
I've never done this
So,
before.
the rules, yes. So,
Yeah, you
the
didn't
answers
tell us
after
any
questions. It's getting late. Okay, that was question 1. So, question 2. Popular culture. How many players started Squid Game? Was it 301 players?
All of them.
500 players? 121 players? Or 456 players? So how many players started the first game of Squid Game? Did everybody watch Squid Game? Just because it's popular culture. So you did? Yeah. Everyone's nodding. Maybe nodding. Yeah. Question marks. Yeah. Okay. So everyone should know this answer then. Good. Okay, next one. TV and film. I like to believe that there are always possibilities. Who said this? Was it Kirk? Was it Spock? Was it Bones? Or was it Scotty?
I think you're a Star Trek fan, right? Because last cast you also had a question about Star Trek.
That's pure laziness on my part. There's a website with Star Trek quotes. Okay, question 4. What popular TV show uses this mode of transport? Is it Police 911? Is it Chips? Doctor Who? Or Crime Squad?
It's not Knight Rider?
Oh, Knight Rider. I should put Knight Rider.
What is it? Chips.
Chips. It's the Chicago Highway something
Police.
Patrol Squad, Police Squad.
Yeah.
Something. Chips. Is that right?
What?
Something like that.
I
California
don't know any of
Highway.
these shows. So.
Chips is an old show, like old.
Yeah, it's worth a look
It's
back.
worth a watch.
I'm sure there's like a clips montage on YouTube you could find for Chips.
Yeah. Okay, question 5. Space. Which of the following is not a call sign for the Apollo command module? Gumdrop, Charlie Brown, Casper, or Columbo? So not a call sign. So apparently the astronauts got to name the call signs for each of the Apollo command modules from Apollo 9 onwards. Okay, question 6. History, ancient geeks. Which famous Greek geek reportedly exclaimed, "Eureka, Eureka," during a bath? Was it Euripides? And my dad's joke is, Euripides trousers, you buy me another pair. So, was it? Was it Archimedes?
Oh, we need a honking button for dad joke alert.
Was it Pythagoras? Or was it Socrates? Okay, that's the ancient geeks done. Question 7. Telecommunications history. SMS messages used to be limited to how many characters? Nobody will ever need more than 200 characters. 160? What are you writing? An essay? A nice round developer-friendly 255? 80 characters? That's more than we had when I was a lad. So how many characters for SMS messages? Okay. Question 8. 'Tis the season. Why is there no sequel to the film Elf?
Because it
Is it
sucks.
because of Elf and safety? Is it because Will Ferrell just refused to do it? Is it because Coca-Cola claimed copyright on Santa? Or it's not true. There's one coming next year.
Don't get my hopes up, okay? I can't handle the emotional crush of believing there's going to be an Elf sequel and then being cheated out of it. Don't do this.
Okay, question 9. The Star Wars Holiday Special was broadcast in which year? Was it 1981, 78, 85, or 75?
Is it
Everyone is
on?
thinking, when was Star Wars released?
Was that an original black and white or a color photo?
I don't know.
That would help.
It's, no, it's colour. It's in colour. So, okay. Last question. According to NORAD, who designed and built Santa's sleigh? Was it Sleigh Bells Inc.? Was it K. Kringle Elves Inc.? Was it Sleighs Are Us? Or was it Santa's Little Helpers? Okay, it's over. That's 10 questions. Do you want the answers?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay.
I
Okay.
gotta know.
Okay, you gotta know. So, first recorded use of the word nerd, it is Dr. Zeus.
Ah,
The guy around the zoo.
Shoot.
So,
We have him to thank for so much.
we do. It's a debt that should be repaid. The answer is 456. Oh, yes. Well done, Theo.
It's gonna be the only one I got right.
So, if you've watched my previous hostings, you'll know it's always Spock. So, Spock is the
Yes.
man.
I couldn't guess that.
Good guess. Well done. Okay. Question 4. It is, of course, Doctor Who, as we should all know.
oh, I have one right.
Okay.
I really want to see Chips use the police box, though.
So, which of the following is not a call sign? Did anyone get this right? Anyone guess anything? No? Anyone? It
I said
is.
Casper.
Columbo.
Yes.
Ah, shit.
Detective.
Now we need the duck sound.
Okay, next question. Ancient Greek geeks. It was, of course, Archimedes. And there he is,
finally.
running from his bath. Next question. Telecommunications. It was 160 characters.
Yes.
Oh, someone's doing well. That's good. Okay. So the reason for no more elf films? It's not Elf and Safety, unfortunately. He just didn't want to do it. He said he's geek.
Yes.
That's it. No more. So you can rest easy here.
Valid.
And Star Wars Holiday Special, 1978 apparently.
Ha!
No idea what Chewbacca's wearing, but it looks interesting. And the last question, it was K. Kringle Elves Inc.
Yeah.
So what did everyone get?
1, 2, 3, 4,
5,
7 out of 10.
4, 7? Oh, Clem, that means you have to do it next time.
Oh man,
No,
if
no,
I'm at
I
the
have
bottom of the class,
I have 6.
come on.
6.
No, 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 no.
Mark, what did you get?
7.
7.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. That's not bad. Or you get to dodge the quiz next time. You could even host the quiz next time. That could be the prize. How about that?
Yeah. I'll think about it.
The audience, mostly 7s in the audience. Yeah, so that's...
They were Googling it.
There we go. That's right. In
I
benefit
would
of
have
just
Googled.
Googling.
Culturally educated.
Googling, definitely Googling. Googling.
Nice quiz, Chris.
Oh, 7 wrong.
Oh, right.
8 out of 10.
Someone got a lower score than
Definitely
me. Yay.
Googling. Sean did well. Sean managed 3.
Also 7 wrong.
Well, he's just woken up, so that's fair enough.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Brilliant. Well, that was the quiz. So, I think definitely somebody else needs to host next time because I'm running out of questions, as you can tell. So,
I don't know. That was pretty good. Maybe you're getting better at it.
I agree.
I'm not doing it again.
I said in this conversation.
I think it's a record. I don't think we ever had 3 times the same host.
Is it like SNL? Do you get like a jacket?
Oh, do you get a jacket? Maybe you do, yeah.
Oh, now he's all ready to.
I believe you do.
We can get you a PCB at least.
Yeah,
a jacket.
maybe a
shaped
pink
PCB.
one.
A pink jacket.
A pink jacket PCB.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Well, I wore the Christmas jumpers, so I made an effort. There we go. So, didn't put any flashing lights on there because I was too busy trying to tidy my desk, which failed. So, no, I really feel like my desk is really terrible because it's just horrible. So, yeah, I need some tips on how to
I believe in you. I believe in you.
Oh,
The way that it works for me is I just look at it, and if it's dirty, it causes me anxiety. So
yeah,
it's like,
that's the same
okay.
thing, but then I just think, oh, that's terrible, and I try and leave the room.
Yeah, I've developed like a mind filter. Like I just at some point I
Yeah.
just don't see the things anymore, and then
Yeah.
somebody says something, and I'm like, oh yeah, there are
Yeah.
things.
That's the rest of the house
That is
for
a
me.
mess.
The rest of the house is like that for me. Like I'm completely blind to all the other mess in this place. But my workbench, it's gotta be clean. It's my sanctuary.
I want to get there.
Yeah, I just leave the office and hide. It's the nice thing about having a separate room with all the crap in is you can just leave
Yeah,
it.
just stick it in a pile of shame and never talk about
Exactly. Yeah.
I also like having a door to the studio, so that's where
Oh.
the day. I do not. feel
That was a big change I did. Like this is now not my bedroom anymore. It's now like just a workshop, and I can like leave the mess behind.
Brag about it.
It was not great. I've slept in here for like 3 or 4 years, and it was a bit cleaner then. I've get you. Like it's if you sleep in it, it has to be nice.
It does. Yeah.
Pro tip: if you need a snow shovel to get through a workshop, you should clean.
You just shovel it into the bin and then work your way through.
No, it's just if you can't just push it away with the snow shovel anymore. Then it's time to clean. Up until then, you're settled. There's no problem with that.
That is the trick. I think Guido's got the right idea. Big tub. Just sweep it. So anyway, that's the last show of the year. So that's it for a year. I guess we'll be back next year with another show. New host.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, Bit Looney will probably do January as always, but
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be good. Yeah. The show off with a bang. And then maybe we should
yeah,
start.
Becky, if you want to do February,
hard maybe.
Nodding.
I like that commitment.
Who are you, me?
Very, very in MakerCast fashion.
Yes.
I've given that a solid, secure, perhaps.
Maybe we need a voter or something. We should have a voter. That's what we need. Let's get a voter up. That's
Oh my god.
it's organized. Yeah. All
This
right.
is great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is so fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. That was
Thanks for
awesome.
coming on.
That was
Made the
nice.
show. And the audience as well. We should give a big round of applause to the audience. Thanks for watching, audience. You.
Without the audience,
we'd
we're
just be
talking
a bunch
to
of
ourselves.
weirdos talking to
And each
ourselves.
other.
And each other, yes. You are there, aren't you? You're not just in my imagination.
I'm definitely in your imagination. You should be afraid.
Gaslighting him.
Oh, fear haunts my dreams. All right, I'm going to end the broadcast. See you guys.
Bye.
Goodbye.